KNON presents Ribs, the Reverend, and the Rebels, coming this Saturday, October 22nd, starring Charlie Parr. Joining Charlie Parr will be Trainwreck, featuring the Right Reverend K.M. Williams and Washboard Jackson, and Dallas's hottest new party blues band, the 1969s. Add to that a delicious dinner by Red Hot and Blue, featuring their legendary St. Louis cut spare ribs, and you have Ribs, the Reverend, and the Rebels. Red Hot and Blue will also bring out their famous Grandma's Signature potato salad. Doors are at 7 p.m. with the music at 8. Advance tickets are only $8. That's $8 for a dinner and a show on a Saturday night. There's no better deal in Dallas. This is J-Mac, and I'll be your host on Saturday.
We do have special guests in the studio tonight, and they're going to be opening up the big KNON benefit coming up this Saturday down there at Poor David's Pub, and it's going to be featuring, I'm going to turn my headphones up there, and we've got Charlie Parr, we've got K.M. Williams and Trainwreck with Washboard Jackson, and opening the show will be the band I have guesting with me in the studio right now, the 1969s. Welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you.
And go ahead and pull that right down there on you. Just
heck yeah, here we go.
It's a microphone, man. Just get right up on it. And you guys are going to be opening our big show, and you know we came up with the name Ribs, Rebels, and the Reverend. And I'm counting you as the Rebels, okay? Is that all right? I mean, little rebellion, and but tell me a little bit about the 1969s. Tell folks about your music. Folks that may not be familiar with what you do.
Sure, we consider ourselves party blues because we like to have a good time, playing this music. We all came from really different musical backgrounds. Chris and I, the drummer, have been in many bands together, a lot of dirty rock bands and things, and we had a really lazy drummer that wouldn't show up to jam sessions and practice.
Well, that's half the work.
Yeah.
Showing up.
So Chris was a guitar player, but he decided to play drums. So when the drummer wouldn't show up, we started writing music.
All right.
And luckily, I played in tons of metal bands and everything, and I guess it was 2 or 3 years ago I discovered Open G, which if you don't know for a guitar player is like, that's where all the blues comes from, the Open G or the Open D. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I couldn't stop writing music. And Chris and I would drink beer, and like I said, when the drummer wasn't there, we'd start writing songs, and sooner or later, the drummer wasn't there, period. And then, so we formed the 1969s and brought Troy aboard, and we've had a blast ever since. And it's the blues, but it's kind of a different direction in blues. It's pretty powerful stuff, but our purpose is to have a good time.
Well, I tell you what, let's go into a song right now. Let folks know what you sound like. I got a track queued up called "And I Will." Anybody want to serve up an introduction on this one?
Yeah, this is a song about a family member that I have that has pretty much been incarcerated his whole life, and this is kind of my tribute to him and back in the days when we used to have fun as a kid.
I got a lot of listeners in the gated community.
All right.
This one goes out to all you guys. And I Will by the 1969s, opening up the show this Saturday night for KNON's big Rebels and the Reverend show, featuring Charlie Parr, K.M. Williams, and Trainwreck with Washboard Jackson, and the band you just heard there, the 1969s. And tell you what, why don't you introduce yourselves? For those of you listening to your radios, we are going to go from left to right on your dial. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, my name's Scott Lindsay. I play guitar and sing.
My name is Chris Mancini. I play the drums.
I'm Troy Thibodeau, and I am the bass player.
And you were talking a little bit earlier about some background in metal, and that's why a big part of why I opened up with Alf and Dio doing the Chuck Berry. I got such a major kick when that CD showed up. I'm like, well, the distance isn't really that far between the blues and really any kind of rock and roll. People tend to think of blues and, the classic rock, the earlier popular rock, the Led Zeppelins, the Stones, and
they stole it all.
The artists had just wore it on their sleeve that they had blues inspiration, but at the same time, Black Sabbath was starting their genre of rock that evolved into metal, and Blue Cheer and some other artists out there, and I think that that the blues was in there too. I can almost see a young Ozzy in a thick English accent going, Willie Dixon, that sounds all right to me. And can you do a riff almost like that? And
For sure, man.
you know, and you get a riff, and it just leads to something, and it's all very simple music, and it's how you play it.
You hit the nail on the head, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you're reading notes, if you look at it, if you read the notes on the music, it's it's like the Ramones.
It's 12-bar blues, 3 chords, and it's really based on what you can do with those 3 chords.
What kind of
It's been done the same way forever.
and what kind of feeling you put into it, your
Exactly.
style. And that's where I got to commend you guys. You've put your feeling into it, and you've come up with something really original and really fun.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, appreciate it.
And what blues have you listened to? I mean, what kind of blues is in your collection or in your head?
We all have different versions, but on my drive here, she was playing Sun House, Death Letter Blues, which is straight to the soul, will cut you in half blues. And that's some of my favorite stuff. Sun House and, of course, Muddy Waters, all those guys.
Yeah, and a lot of the Delta blues, the Mississippi Hill Country blues with Burnside and Kimbrough and those guys are a really big influence on us.
I can hear some Burnside going on here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we're heavily into Burnside.
Yeah.
Junior Kimbrough, just those guys, they did it their own way.
Yeah.
And that's what we're really looking to do.
Yeah, and what kind of blues?
I'm into the same stuff. They kind of turned me on to a lot of the Delta blues. My version of blues was the average, Red House kind of stuff, which is great. But the Delta blues is a whole different thing, in my opinion. It cuts to the core of it. It's the real sit on the corner and, the simple. And really, they introduced me to it. So. And I'm glad they did, because I love it. Now I'm just working on an open D tuning on my bass, but I hadn't figured that one out yet. Working on it.
Well,
RG.
that could be your creative energy.
I need more strings, I think, maybe.
And KM Williams is the one that had told me
Yeah.
about you guys.
Great stuff, man.
We were thinking about, well, what's going to go good with Charlie Parr, and I felt that Charlie Parr represents his own thing completely. There's not really an artist in Dallas that you could say sounds like Charlie Parr. I mean, and he moves around the neck of his guitar like our traffic moves around on a good day, just
It's
all
very
over the
lead
place.
belly.
It's-
He's very lead belly.
yeah, and so we thought about KM because of what KM does, and it fits the mood that I think is going to be there, and you guys coming in and just opening things up with a real kickoff.
Right.
That it seemed to work, and it's made me want to eat ribs. Something about all three of you. When I listen to it, it's like, I want to eat ribs to this music.
Yeah, you
so
gotta get it down on your bone.
yeah, it's going to get to I want to bite a bone while I'm listening. I want to suck on it, just bite onto a bone.
Yeah, like my dad, you get down to the marrow.
Yeah. Some sauce got in there, man. Get it out. Yeah, treat your ribs like your crawfish. All right.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana, so I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Troy is too. Thibodeau on bass.
Thibodeau on
Damn right.
bass. And you brought something in here that we're gonna get the premiere on, the radio premiere. So, good show, here's to us. What's the name of this track that we have?
This track here is Calamity Jane. It's currently out on the web in another form. We have a lady who comes in and guest vocals with us occasionally when we play live, and her name is Macy. So we went back into the studio after she started coming out and singing with us live and had her redo some of the vocal tracks on here. So the choruses and the last verse are all re-recorded and remixed on this song, and probably this is the first time publicly most people will hear this.
Calamity Jane, and it's track 1 on the CD.
Yeah, and this song is about crazy women, and of course why men love these crazy women.
Bridget, they got a song for you. Calamity Jane from the 1969's opening up the big KNON benefit this Saturday night over there at Poor David's Pub. KNON, the voice of the people in Dallas and Fort Worth. 89.3 FM. And we've got a big event coming up Saturday night. It's 3 great blues bands and ribs from Red Hot and Blue. If you get your ticket now, it's only $8. Now, you can't get a plate of ribs for $8, but we're going to give you a plate of ribs and 3 great bands. We've got Charlie Parr, and he's coming in. He's traveling around the country, touring out there right now, and he's going to make a stop in Dallas just for KNON, help us raise a little bit of money, and that's why we're breaking out the ribs. Because, Charlie's out on the road, man, and he's moving around and traveling lots and lots and lots, and we thought, well, let's get this man some ribs for coming in and playing the benefit. And K.M. Williams and Washboard Jackson are going to do their train wreck. Fabulous stuff. I mean, Washboard he's just crazy when he gets at what he does, man. It's just crazy. And KM, you never found anybody any more sincere about the blues they play than KM Williams.
Real deal.
And these guys right here, my special guest this evening, the 1969s. So let's talk a little bit about that name, the 1969s. Where did that come out of? Was it the Iggy song, the Iggy and the Stooges?
As much as I'm into that album, it's not related to that. We had gone through a couple names, and we just couldn't decide on anything. And that really just popped in my head one day, and just the awkwardness of pluralizing a single year's name. And really, it kind of just fit the sound. At the time, I was really into, that era, the Stones albums, and I was listening to those a lot. And that's really the year that, the whole hippie movement died in the 70s started.
Yeah, I have a theory, though, that 1969 was the year, let's say that the 1970, everything that was cool kind of died.
Literally in some cases, right?
So coolness jumped the shark, in a sense, after 1969.
After 1969.
Yeah, so we want the 69s to live on forever.
Okay. Well, I'll take that. I mean,
and ironically, every time you tell that story, you have to bring up that you were born in '69.
This is true.
I was gonna say, I bet you 1969 rolls in on somebody's birth date here.
Yep, that's it.
Total coincidence.
Total coincidence.
That is a really cool year, though. You have to admit it.
Well, then I'll go ahead and give my little story about my year. The year I was born, the wise men gathered, and they played and sang and continued on for my lifetime, those wise men being the Rolling Stones.
There you go.
I was born the year the Stones started.
Nice.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this kid's going to need some good stuff to listen to in about, 16 years, so let's...
They did you well.
Yeah, they did me well. The wise men gathered and sang. I hear that happened with another baby being born, even before me.
I thought you were going to say year 1 you were born. It's a different wise man. Yeah. Different story.
I don't know if they even sang as good. There's no records by them. There's, but...
I'll put any Stone song up against their music, wise men music.
Yeah, okay.
Any day.
Okay, well, I'll accept that.
They had frankincense and myrrh, though.
Yeah, well, Stones can buy all of that they want right about now.
Yeah, they got it covered.
And they've done tons of it.
yeah, they've gone beyond that, man. So what do you have coming up so far as now? We just heard Calamity Jane. Now I found your music up on the web. Is there a plan for?
Well, the problem with us is we're extreme slackers. We have our own studio, but we have 25 songs maybe. But we are a party band, so we don't really like to get down to the nitty gritty of actually recording and then all that stuff. So. The songs that you're hearing, we recorded a long time ago, but we really need to get together and start really focusing in on this and recording our new material, because we have kind of spread our wings a little bit in our own sound.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you come out to the show on Saturday, you can hear all those new songs that are not on the internet currently.
Well, maybe we'll just record you. I mean, Carlos can do a great job recording, and
There you go.
then it's two birds with one stone.
Right.
Like, no.
Bootleg it.
Yeah, there we go. Bootleg our own CD. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're perfectionists as well, because we're just looking for that dirty yet clean sound, and it just eludes us at times because we can't really find. It doesn't sound like us live.
Yeah. Well, that I imagine has to be real hard for lots of bands. I know a lot of artists that you see them live, and then you get some recorded material from them, and it's just not the same thing. The valley can be quite deep in between.
Yeah, yes.
And how do you capture that vibe, that feel, the magic of lifting a room up with a band's vibe and sound, and putting the audience in the palm of your hand, as they can say. And when we met earlier, we were talking a little bit about some of y'all's history with KNON, and it's been since we were in the stuff of legend, as I like to refer to it, the White House of East Dallas. As I told the DJs when we moved here from there, that remember those stories, because the further away we get from that house and those stories, the harder they will be for anyone to believe. And it's pretty much come true. I sometimes tell the stories, and people look at me like, gunshots? Hookers? Community radio? Huh? I'm like, no, really. It was this San Jacinto Street, man. And don't even get me started on the skinhead stories.
Uh-oh. I'd love to hear the skinhead stories.
Well, it was an overnight show, and I wouldn't play Screwdriver, and they threatened me, and so they come down to kick my butt. But at the time, there was a pretty robust market going on in front of the station, so far as hookers doing their thing and the pimps having to do their thing, and it's all a business. And when they came and hung around, stood and leaned up against their car like, oh, they're going to kick my butt when I come down, they found a whole lot of people that were in the area didn't look too kindly on a bunch of bald white guys hanging
like
around.
The old Dead Horse show.
I mean, when it was clear they didn't want any of the products offered at the time.
Yeah.
So by the time I got off my show, the area was pretty clear, and I just said hi to my neighbors and went on my way.
So the hookers saved your life, basically.
I think it was the pimps.
The pimps?
The pimps.
That's awesome.
I think,
That's an awesome story.
Yeah. Well,
Dave Chaos.
I was a fixture in the neighborhood. I was
Saved by a
always there.
Wow.
Saved by crime.
Irony.
But y'all would come down when you were in different bands back then, and we were doing KNON benefits and playing your music. You wanna share any of your background with the listeners? Well, why don't we will start to my right. For those of you listening to your radio, that would be the left speaker.
Well, I remember that house very well. I was in a band called Damaged Faith at the time, back in the 90s.
I still got the shirt.
Do you really?
Yeah.
We played a few. Yeah, I do. We played a few benefits for you guys. I just remember doing an interview there and walking in this house and being led up to the attic or somewhere, and it's like, is there a studio up here somewhere? And we followed you up there, and sure enough, there was some equipment in a little room, and it worked, though. I listened to the station back then. It sounded good, so I couldn't tell.
That's all that counts.
I couldn't hear the hookers and the pimps. It sounded great.
And you had it.
Chris is from Chicago, so
I missed out on that.
So
scene.
Well, okay. So was the story I just told, is that at all believable?
I can believe it. I've been in parts of Dallas where that's completely applicable.
Yeah. Well, we're the voice of the people, and we started out as a grassroots effort. It was literally a door-to-door campaign to raise money to put the station on the air.
Nice.
And we were sharing a house with a community activist group that helped us organize to get the money to put the station on at the time. So we took the upstairs bedrooms and they took the downstairs, and they actually got the kitchen and a bathroom and everything, man.
You got top bunk then.
Yeah, we were in top bunk. But, it kind of grew from there.
Yeah.
But you had.
Yeah, man, I was pretty much a band slut. I've played in various mini bands in Dallas, Cult Seavers, Primitive Echo.
My good friend Jeff Ross. Yeah.
Yes, Primitive Echo. Voss Deference Organization. I don't know if you remember those guys. Very underground, weird stuff. And
That's familiar.
Pet Rock, as we got a call from Robert a few minutes ago.
Yeah, Rock is, and he still comes around, helps out on Pledge Drive.
Yep. And then Chris and I played in the Stink, which is a really dirty rock and roll band, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I've played in many other bands, but
Well-
Million Pounds. I played with those guys.
Oh yeah, Million Pounds. Yeah. That we had some interesting adventures with the Million.
As
Seemed like
have
a
I.
lot of just fights, you know. And you'd set up the show and you'd go, so you want to flip over? It was like buying football boxes, like, you know. Okay, when's the fight gonna? Buying squares. Like, okay, well I'll take before the headline. No, I'm taking bar time. I'm taking bar time for sure. In the club or in the park.
Yeah, I played with all those guys. Conniption Fit.
Yeah.
Did some, playing around with those guys. But the singer, Jason Burris, he's got a new band, Protest. They've been around for a while.
Yeah, I played Protest down
But
here.
they got a new CD coming out, and they've been really putting some hard hours in on that. It sounds really good and clean.
Make sure they get it to me. I would
sure they will.
love to hear that. To hear that. And Dallas gave birth, I believe, to the speed metal movement with Rigor Mortis and Mike Scascia and all that. And I mean, the history of the musical history here is just so rich. I just don't think it ever really gets the credit for that.
Pantera and Dead Horse comes through all the time, and
then
good days back then.
If you look at the blues and like what you're doing, and the man is guitar and pouring it all out.
Well, Robert Johnson supposedly recorded downtown Dallas on his second recording session.
Down on Park, yep. And Lead Belly played down in Deep Elm, and I've been known to kind of like walk Deep Elm in the quiet hours and see, put my ear up to a building, see if I can hear any of that vibe still coming around.
You, yeah.
But no, I think that's what's just amazing about our city, Dallas, is there's so much music that got to start here that continues to come from here. Great music, and I think it's the whole starving artist thing, the whole struggle of being recognized in a city that, Kinky Friedman said this in reference to KNON. It was amazing that we're still here after 28 years in the city that roots for Goliath over David.
For sure.
And the whole image kind of goes against, in a lot of ways, the projected image on mainstream media, the big, all the flashy, shopping malls and rich big hair and all that nonsense. When below that, the real city is people putting out music that's just loaded with expression of everything from angst to heartbreak to just pure honest music, from metal to blues to gospel to country.
Well, man, it's funny for me because I've played in so many bands and so many different musical genres. Played in really heavy bands and bands that are Mr. Bungle, like Secret Chiefs 3 type stuff. They're extremely complex music, and studied my whole life into music. But it seems that the pinnacle for me has brought me down to the most basic forms of music, because it to me it has a soul in it that just a blues musician can play 3 notes and it'll just make you cry.
Yeah, because it's how he plays them.
Exactly.
It's like I remember when the Ramones came out, and it was all the classic rock bands of the time, and my older siblings would be like, "Well, man, what is that junk? That's just how they want to beat me up for listening to this. What is this? I mean, you gotta check out Emerson, Lake and Palmer or something." I'm like, no, man, this makes me bounce off walls.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah, R.L. Burnside makes me bounce off walls, man.
Yeah. It's the beauty of just the raw emotion in the rawest of music, and it's how you play it. It's not how many notes, it's how you play them. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, let's go ahead and wrap things up with one more track, and tell folks again that you're going to be playing Poor David's Pub this Saturday night.
Ribs.
We're gonna open the door at 7. You can get your ribs.
Get you some ribs.
And right about
ribs.
when you're chewing the bones, around 8 o'clock, we're gonna bring on the 1969s.
Yes, sir.
To get you going, to just kick the night off with some amps. I'm just gonna amp it up, get some energy going. and we're going to carry it all night from there. And following the 1969s, of course, KM Williams, Washboard Jackson, and their band Trainwreck. And then we're going to have Charlie Parr coming into town to do a KNON benefit for us. And we gotta mention Red Hot and Blue. Yep. Man, because they're coming out donating all this great food. David and the good folks at Red Hot and Blue, we can't thank them enough. They're helping us bring in Charlie Parr, too. So just can't thank them enough for helping make our big benefit this Saturday night all that much more special. Ribs, the Rebels, and the Reverend. And don't forget, $8 in advance. If you go to KNON.org, you can get your ticket now for only $8. And if you wait till the day of the show, it's going to be a little bit more. Still a pretty good deal. It's going to be $12 if you walk up. You're going to get your ribs, you're going to get your blues, you get your 1969s.
Party blues.
It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a mighty fine night. Is there anything else y'all would like to leave us with?
I think you're going to... Are you rolling into the Suit song?
Well, I got to roll into some announcements, and then we're going to roll into the Suit song.
So this song, this is a funny story behind this song. I was at a company party for the place I work, and one of my friends, crazy guy, and he comes up and he has this suit on. And I'm like, hey, man, you look great. You look great in that suit. And he's like, well, thanks, man. He goes, this is my only suit. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. But he's like, this is my only suit. He goes, I bought this when I met my girlfriend, my wife. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He goes, when I bought this suit, he's like, I met her and I felt that I really wasn't a man until I owned a suit. And I said, I'm writing a song about that. I'm like, you just wrote a song for me. So I hope this doesn't become a big hit. He tries to take all of our money.
Take a piece of royalties off that.
But the song is called...
I want a suit!
Yeah, the song is called...
I got one!
You're looking so good, I had to buy a suit.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead with that introduction. We're going to roll into that before we do the announcements. So, thank you so much for coming
Dave.
down.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for KNON. Let's keep supporting the music here, man.
All right, man. We will see you this Saturday night down there at Port David's Pub. Big KNON benefit. And again, we've got the track Looking So Good, I Had to Buy a Suit.